Hey, it's me, Max. Welcome to Stitch of Fate, a Vampire the Masquerade V5 podcast. Since we'll be portraying vampires who have left their mortal lives behind, expect there are going to be bad things that deal with difficult themes and content meant for an adult audience. This content may include, but is not limited to, body horror, murder, gore, extreme emotional situations, and graphic images. Remember, don't hold those actions against the players, just the character. Take care of yourself, and take a break if you need it.
Our scene picks up back in that house. The crime scene mostly clean now, as we see Duke very meticulously picking up one limb after another and placing them in plastic bags, while Max, the large bat beast that he is actually standing on the bed with a sponge and yellow cleaning gloves over his monstrous hands, slowly scrubbing away at the symbols and the streak of blood that was once considered a halo for a decapitated head. All while Sean leans up against a wall and probably looks like he's ready to vomit at any given moment.
I tell you, this is for the birds.
Yeah. I got some good angles on it, though, flicking through phone.
Good angles? What are you... Is that a phone?
Taps it against wall. Yeah, it's a phone.
Have you not been filled in yet on the rules?
I know the rules. It's just a phone.
Okay, well, did you at least get some good pictures of this?
Yeah. It's just something familiar about... But I'm just kind of disappointed that I can't put this on the internet. Everyone would freak.
Yeah, Sean, you remember our friend Grant at the club? What we did to him is going to seem like getting off easy if you get caught with that phone.
I'd be inclined to agree.
I'm not going to get caught. I never do. It slips it in pocket. Yeah, look, you can't even tell it's there.
Sean. And he kind of like winds up a bag and tosses it to him. Be a gentleman and carry a bag, please.
Oh God, it's leaking.
That's what bodies do.
As you pull it, the mess of limbs kind of you can feel their weight slowly adjust as you pull it off of the ground and the pool of liquid underneath sagging just a bit.
Yeah, double bag that. We don't want any drips. And I'm going to take all the bedclothes, put them in a separate bag. Going to look around to see if there's maybe some sheets in a linen cupboard or something like that.
Yep.
You seem to be struggling, Sean. It's like it's your first time seeing a body.
I just saw a fountain of blood coming out of a guy's arm. This is next level.
Right. Well, I promise it's not that bad. You see, we've discovered them after their death. You don't know this person. You never spent any time with them. You couldn't get into their mind. This is an inanimate figure now.
Yeah, and I never will.
Well, most assuredly. Not really sure what abilities you might have access to as a weaker generation. But
yeah, all right.
I assure you that it's not so bad. You'll stomach it, or you'll figure it out.
You say that. This dude was in several different places at once.
Right. Is that a problem?
Are you... What could be worse? No, don't answer that. I am going. I put it in a second bag. I tie it up really tight, and I just kind of hold it at arm's length.
I mean, I could think of all kinds of things that could be worse. I mean, they could have castrated him. They could have... Hello? Where'd you go? All right.
As Sean marches out the front door, stomping, keeping the bag at arm's length, leaving just Duke and Max to finish the cleaning job.
I point to Max. It's true. That would have been a bit more personal.
Fair enough. Yeah, he's young.
He'll get used to it.
As the two of you kind of finish out, and the camera pulls away and leaves you for a moment as we follow Sean making his way back to the club only a few blocks out. Eventually, through the back door you make your way, and downstairs where Vera has been waiting, going up and down, tending to the club, I'm sure, and maybe even putting on a little bit of a show. Maybe an hour or so has passed since they've left, and Sean returns with some plastic bags filled with things, Vera.
I imagine you've walked into, like, the proper cigar lounge with these bags of body parts.
Sean's hovering around the staff entrance of the cigar lounge with a very heavy-looking plastic black bag.
Completely covered in neon lights, swallowed by the mass of people who don't realize what the hell you're holding, and nothing but, like, you get the residual steam from a smoke machine not too far out clouds most of your vision, but you are sticking out like a sore thumb with that bag.
Vera takes a final puff on a very large ring size of a cigar and, like, puts the stub down, does not out it, she will be back. Sighs and gets up and walks to the staff entrance and goes, I'm guessing you located the body?
Gestures with bag.
There is a stage door entrance for a reason.
I'm not an actor.
I gesture to, like, play off like nothing's wrong, people passing by, to make sure nobody questions anything.
Certainly. I imagine, you're not specifically attempting to draw attention. However, being out in the public eye, Sean, even though she's waving it away, it's difficult to ignore. The Toreador in her, shall we say, in her own personal rose garden of sorts, her own personal stage, all those she walks by, eyes linger. Conversation is attempted, drinks are attempted to be shared, and even when she's standing here near the staff door, not a foot away from you, there's a few people hovering around, clearly looking or waiting for her attention, hoping to just get a morsel of it.
I say, take it into the blood room. We can at least wash away whatever it is, and I'm
You
sure...
say that, and one of the people lingering actually kind of looks up and was clearly now to you eavesdropping
Yes.
on the conversation. He looks up.
My eyes dart and make eye contact.
He is visually, like, his face grins widely when he catches your eye and notices it caught your attention.
Put a finger up and tell him to come a little closer.
He quickly peels away from the rest of the crowd, closing that 1 foot gap, and immediately comes up. He's like, I didn't think you'd ever pass. The way you move
Stop
is just...
speaking. Move along. If I catch you eavesdropping in my general area again, you don't get to come back.
You're not using any of your abilities, I
Nope,
imagine?
I am just
simply giving him
telling
a strong... You're looking to intimidate. Manipulation, intimidation, please.
Okay.
As he may have picked up on something you didn't want him to hear about. It didn't necessarily mean it's a masquerade breach, but hey,
Yeah.
blood room could mean anything.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, maybe that's where he actually really wants to be. We don't know.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
judgment from Vera. Would you say that her looks would qualify as the bonus die on this?
You're dressed up like... Are you dressed up like you would be like when you're performing a show, or are you more dressed up?
No, I would say she probably hasn't performed tonight, so she is in her best.
Certainly. I don't know. That's a tough question. Would your attire help intimidate? I guess that I'm actually going to leave that up to you. Are you dressed more seductively, or are you dressed more business forward?
Well, I would say that her shoulder pads always come to a point. So she's just a smidgen.
That's +1 right
Yeah,
there.
she just she gives off the air of, like, dangerously beautiful.
Okay. I will accept in this moment a +1. Your little specialty of what it was.
Okay, can't intimidate, but I can manipulate.
4 successes are, as you kind of speak these words very dryly, plainly, and with no air of any flowery language or pretense behind it. You watch as his eyes go from eager to speak with you to as it slowly melts away to what seems to be confusion, anger, and then immediately followed by what you could feel as maybe even a little fear. And he quiets his mouth. Clearly he enjoys spending nights here, and he just kind of takes that as his hint, takes a big gulp of his drink and then starts drinking the one he was holding for you and turns to walk away, disappearing into the crowd.
Sean just looks at her like, I have no idea how you do that.
Stand up straight for one.
Why?
And on that, you kind of push him towards the blood room.
Take it out of here.
Make your way downstairs. After that encounter and you make your way into the basements, that's around the time Duke and Max also return from finishing the cleanup, replacing the linens, washing the walls, and all that nonsense until you kind of all congregate serendipitously at the same time back into the blood room with trash bags of new fun toys and bits.
Well, it was rather a mess.
And you cleaned it up and put it in little trash bags.
Yeah, well, Duke decided to get a little hands-on with the evidence, so to speak, so I thought it best not to leave it there.
What did we learn?
Double bagging it doesn't work, and shows that my hand is covered in this guy's blood.
As you, nonchalantly plop the bag in front of you, and it does land with a rumbly plop.
Splats everywhere.
We also discovered that Sean is a bit of a germaphobe and probably has a mild issue with things outside of blood.
It's not like that. I'm used to it now, but murder, bit more than I can handle. Don't look at me like that.
I pull out my notebook and say, this is what it looked like. Of course, if you want a better look, you could always take a gander at the photos that our friend, the kid here, took on his phone.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I would love to see these photos. I walk over and oh man, I walk over and bridge the distance, and I grab the hand that's got blood all over it, and I lick your hand. Phone.
Yep, yeah, you can have the phone. It's now got a bloody hand mark on it.
Like beep, 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 beep through it. I look at all of them, I guess. It's not a touch screen, right?
It will be a touch screen phone.
It would be a touch screen, so you would need a blush of life to use it.
Okay, well, she would. That's
why
a nightly thing.
Little,
yeah, that's a nightly thing. We'll just rouse the blood. Perfect. I get a little hungrier.
Your hunger does not. So for a moment, you actually see Vera kind of go and start plucking away at it. You're not familiar with smartphones in the first place. It's not something that Vera has had regular access to, and they're illegal in any way. So you go and kind of start. It's like watching grandma start typing on the keyboard. You kind of punching it, and then you realize it's not working. And you close your eyes for a minute. You'll let the blood kind of flow through you. You feel your organs kind of kick back into life, and the warmth return to your fingertips as you. Okay, now it's working.
Right.
And so you start to flip through the pictures, and you see the very scene that was described. The decapitated head with the crown missing from the top. The body with all the limbs separated and moved. The arc of a halo with runes around the top of it.
As I flip through each one, I then delete each one. Then I hand it back.
Hey, don't those photos go into some kind of, I don't know, computer mind? I don't know how that works or whatnot.
Yeah, I've got a backup.
Yeah, get rid of those too.
Yeah, okay then.
Does Sean?
Sean thinks about it.
I will buy you a new phone. Smash it.
That's not how it works. Give me. And I go through and I delete the backups.
You delete the cloud saved versions of them
cloud.
and whatnot, and you do eventually get rid of all of them.
And then, with a frown on his face, offers the phone to Vera. It's like,
I'll put my hand out for it from Vera.
I pass it just down the line. Yeah.
Right, you just very nonchalantly with two fingers gently pluck it from his and hand it behind you without even looking as Max just snatches it off of your hand.
And Max basically rolls it up into a small ball, just like.
You can feel the glass shards kind of getting stuck in your palms, the leak of the LCD screen and the like, but by the end of it, it is a ball of metal and bits.
oh, I had some really spicy DMs on that.
Sean,
Yeah.
we will get you a new phone.
I don't care about your spicy dungeon masters.
Wow.
Vera's eyes roll on that number. Yes, we will get you a new electronic device. No more touchscreens or whatever these clouds are.
Sure.
Burner phones
I look
only.
at the palm that you licked, and like taste the blood on my finger. I'm gonna check some things.
Are you checking for resonance and the like?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm checking for resonance and maybe what else is in this.
Do you need to make a roll for that or no?
I believe so. I think I need to do a roll and get 3 successes.
All right. This could be important information because this could tell you the mood that they were in before they died, depending on the resonance of it.
And I can't get.
For what it's
extras
worth,
on
I
this
have
because
Bloodhound.
Bloody thin blood.
You could if you want to use a willpower point, that's you rolled a pool of 3 dice, 2 were successes, 1 was a failure, and it's not a hunger die. So you could use a willpower point and re-roll that 1d10.
I'm going to, because if I get this, I can get a world of information from this blood.
So close. Unfortunately, though, as you taste it, it might just be too old to really pick up anything else on it. Duke, you said you have Bloodhound. Now, what exactly does that do?
Bloodhound allows me to sense a resonance if there is blood available.
And can you, through smell, must you roll against a particular difficulty, I'm assuming?
I believe so. Yeah, it's Resolve Awareness, test difficulty 3.
So as he's kind of licking the blood and the blood's kind of being brought forth now, and there's a moment where Duke can actually focus and concentrate and actually take a moment to smell the blood, he does so. Let's see what you roll.
4 successes.
With 4 successes, now that you take a moment, there's this is the gift of being kindred. You can savor emotions in ways that you couldn't before when you were mortal. Sure, when you were alive, you could tell by the way they screamed or their contorts on their face or the way they fought. But here, the kindred, you have the gift of being able to tell simply by reaching the core of their life force, their blood. And as you take a smell, it's not as sharp as one who might have been afraid at the time of death might be. It's in fact a much duller smell of the smell of like copper and metal. So much so that you believe it to be phlegmatic. He was calm or lazy or otherwise unaware of what was about to happen. And while it was happening or it was too fast to happen, that mood never changed. They were at peace.
Would it be safe to assume that they could even have been resting?
It's a possibility. Phlegmatic definitely would sit within the sleeping, resting category.
So it probably looks like Duke is taking like a deep inhale, moving just slightly closer to Sean at this point after watching Sean lick his finger and then sort of like purse his lips. There's something there. I can tell. You can tell too, right?
I can't do the same things you can, clearly. I don't know what this is.
Well, Vera, this was a calculated crime. I believe a passion. They certainly had a motive for this that goes much further than an immediate lover's quarrel. At least I would believe. But this person was resting. Their blood is telling me that they were at a relaxed state, potentially sleeping, unawares as to what was about to happen. The wounds, the carvings were made post-mortem. It was intentional by design. The halo, the marks, I'd never seen them, but they were to represent something. We should find someone that's not so connected to the prince that might be able to help us with the deciphering or identification.
I know very little of blood magic. Not a bad idea, though I don't also know anyone who does.
I got some other things from his place. Just the standard, computer and whatnot. I don't know anything about that, though, so...
I'll run you through a few things, old-timer.
Yeah, how's about you just do it?
Yeah. Sure.
A laptop is one of the many things that have been scooped up, and Max kind of just tosses it on a nearby table.
I go over, I open it up, see what kind of state it's in.
Okay. As you flip it open, seems to be in a sleep state. You wake the computer, and it's asking for a password.
Try password. Password.
I try password.
You try password, and it's almost weirdly works. As you type in password, no capitals whatsoever, and you just hit enter, the screen kind of goes white and it slides up, and you're greeted with a desktop.
It's always password. The password is always password.
Are you kidding me?
Clearly not.
What the hell are you lot doing? No wonder you need to run away from a bloody smartphone. Oh my god, you absolute muppets. Okay.
Hey, don't blame us. Hey, this guy was a ghoul. Don't blame us.
Muppet? I adjust my very expensive leather dress that is definitely not Muppet-like in any way.
You certainly don't look like a Jim Henson product, Vera, I promise you.
Yeah, you can't even see the seams.
Also true.
Right, I go through this directory.
You just start going through the entire computer. It's going to take you a little bit just to start going through files. What exactly are you looking for specifically? I imagine you're going to go through emails, potential messaging servers or whatnot that they've been on.
Yeah.
But are you diving into like more personal stuff like photos? Or are you going to start diving into like their profiles online if they have any?
Yeah, I'm going to see what different services they're logged in on their browser.
Sure.
I'm going to see and like get a list of passwords from that, which are probably also all password or password one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to see what like different services they've been using and go through maybe documents as well, anything that they might have saved.
Seeing if there's anything blatantly or at least subtly kindred related for you to snatch up. In the meanwhile, the three of you are, is there any more discussion that the three of you would like to have, or we could always push forward to...
Max actually asked, like, you need me for anything right now, boss?
I guess we could just leave the body. Was it drained of all the blood?
No, there was blood around.
It's correct, there was more than enough. Coagulation at the seams, as Sean would put it. But the moment we began to move it, it seemed to slough away the scabs. And we were given more than enough to realize that we had plenty to work with.
I look around at all the trash bags, recognizing that to be truth. Yes, well, the night is young, so am I, and there's nothing we can do about a dead body now, until we find somebody that can tell us more about it, or at least these strange rituals, then...
Okay, you want me to put this on ice for now? I got the big, ice chest.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Fair enough. So, basically all the body parts and whatnot, the rest, things like the sheets and whatnot, we can probably dispose of now, yes?
Yeah, you can probably get rid of that now, no problem.
I'll basically run it over to, the hospital, to the incinerator.
Okay.
Sean, before I go, have your, what is it, club? Whatever, do their street thing. Keep their ears to the ground.
Oh, yeah, sure. They'll do that. No worries.
I nod like, is that supposed to be assuring? Are you sure?
They're not the Scooby crew. Yeah.
Could have fooled me. Dressed like a bunch of dirty hippies.
Yeah, they do smoke a lot of weed.
They dress like a bunch of dirty hippies, and she saunters out to go finish off the night. A cigar still burning, waiting on her.
Duke will follow her, actually.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
You don't realize you're being shadowed actually initially. It's creepy how it works like that sometimes in a club as loud as this. Normally, if there was no such noise, you'd probably hear him coming, but at one point you even turn as you grab your cigar and taking a puff, and as you turn, his silhouette is simply there.
Sit, and don't sneak up on me. Get a fingernail to the eye.
I find that there is something rather shocking that a man of my stature can sneak in any capacity, but if there was ever a place, it would be this one.
Upstairs is not usually your vibe?
You're not wrong. I come with concerns, and this isn't so new to you. I've been curious for a while, and it's only become increasingly so. Sean and Max, they seem to have a bit of a distaste for me. I'm sensing growing rancor, and I'm just hoping for an amicable enough situation that we can work together in. Not that I am opposed to anyone putting me down for any length of time. I'm used to it. I grew up in it. That being said, I'm not sure quite why that there is a bit of a chip on their shoulders, and I was hoping that I could put that unrest away.
Well, Sean is only half what we are. He fears you as all mortals fear you. And for the right reasons, am I mistaken?
I suppose that is a safer way of looking at it and understanding.
Yeah, well, if I'm good at nothing, it is understanding.
And Max?
Well, Max's past is contended with violence and hatred. He is a chip off the old block.
I can understand. But I do not hate Max.
I do not believe he hates you. But it is hard sometimes to stare into the face of something that may remind you of who you are.
I've accepted for a long time that I'm a monster. Long before this life. Staring at Max is, well, when he's visible, it's not so different. We all come in different shapes and sizes, but I'm not ashamed of who or what I am, and I'm not so sure of what it is about me that would remind him of anything.
Well, unfortunately that is not mine to tell, Duke. But in proper tongue, I will tell you that his relationship with his sire is difficult. And, Duke, not that I have any means to fear you, but you are rather difficult.
Am I?
In certain ways. You are as stubborn as a brick wall. And somewhat distastefully placed. All the time. It is wonderful.
I've always understood as such. I just hope that my placement isn't so distasteful going forward for everyone else.
Duke, you worry too much about what everybody else thinks.
It is a safe standard, and it allows me some healthy skepticism for understanding whether or not they choose to turn upon me.
I stopped worrying about other people a long time ago. And look at me now. You're here because I want you here. Max is here because I want him here. He's a good business partner. And has never failed. And, well, Sean, has his place. I have no doubt that whatever strange reflection Max is seeing in you will evolve over time. Time changes everything.
If you believe as such, Vera, then I will assume that it is correct. You do have an earnest read on a person.
Yes.
And I do appreciate that you have allowed me to stay here in this place.
I hope you feel at home in this place. I gesture to a bouncing club.
I find comforts in the rear rooms, where others may be frightened. My companionship with those that seem to walk between the walls is rather welcoming. They're very kind, and silent more often than not, but kind.
Duke, I think it would do you some good to spend some time with the little one.
Sean, you mean?
Yes, it would do him some good as well.
Everyone is a little one when you are as large as I.
Yes, well. Sean, I mean. You need to understand why others fear you. And at the same time, Sean needs to, I don't know, buck up.
Accept. He needs to accept.
He's trying. But maybe you can, I don't know, enlighten him in some way. He has potential, he's just misguided. And why do his clothing have holes in them?
I believe that it is something of a fashion statement of the age.
I sighed twice at that note.
I completely agree. It seems to lack the proper ability to protect yourself from weathering or from a hail of bullets and arrows. Not as if that is a threat, at least immediately.
Let's hope not at all,
Thank you, Vera. I'm considering what you're saying, and I'll probably speak with Sean more. He does seem very interesting, and it is rather nice that he can touch a phone without having to assume a certain role.
If you like phones, then yes. Just avoid trying to corner him or anything. He may pee himself.
Understood. Duke will stand and leave him.
Duke stands and he follows out, but the camera falls off the edge of the balcony into the crowd and out the front door. Around the back end, where we eventually catch Max, rather. Now, Max, when you head to the hospital, what's his route? Does he usually hit the sewers and just kind of head to the hospital through his sewers? Does he have a normal route that I'm assuming that he travels from the club to there?
Yeah, the sewers, of course. The stereotypical Nosferatu route.
And where do you meet up with this particular contact of yours? Does he meet you in the parking garage on normal times? Does he leave like a key kind of left hidden somewhere for you to sneak in on times where he may not be around?
I have a key. I have a copy of the key. But I also have a means of contacting him, getting around the various rules. I contact him with an old 1980-style pager.
Yep, I love it. So maybe after you halfway through the sewers, you're walking, we see Max kind of fiddle, throwing a bag over his shoulder, pulling something out, and he pulls out this old square brick that has a snapped metal slider that would have hooked onto the belt loop. Is long gone at this point, and you're just kind of pressing with your bigger hands like a few buttons, sending off a signal to somebody to let them know that you're on the way. They're usually there within 30 minutes of you putting out the signal as they live close, and you kind of trot your way that way, eventually climbing your way out of a manhole maybe just a half a block away from the parking garage, crawling your way through there invisibly until you meet up at a door that is usually locked that you have the key to, or this particular person meets you at. And it's at this point where you will actually meet up with your contact. Is your plan to hand them the bags?
Yeah, basically hand off the bags, let them know that these needs to be incinerated, and general niceties. We get along.
Yeah. My apologies, but the name of this particular contact.
This is Sam. Sam is a ghoul. And he is my ghoul. He works as a paramedic. He may not have been on shift tonight, but he can get where he needs to, even if he's not on shift. In fact, it might be easier if he's off shift.
Oh, he's definitely off shift tonight. Absolutely. And so when he kind of stumbles out around the corner, wearing jeans and kind of just a jacket, speaks to you facing away from you initially at first. Busy night. How can I help?
Hey, Sam. Just got something for the incinerator, if you don't mind.
Never do.
Just
drop
don't
it by my
worry.
feet. I'll take care of it.
It's not any meat or nothing, just some bloody clothes and whatnot, so, thanks. And, you got this week's delivery?
He takes a moment as he kind of kicks the bags over around the corner and places them in a point that's relatively out of sight. Yeah, hang on a second. And you hear his footsteps grow faint. You hear a distant car door open, followed by a trunk, some ruffling around before you hear the trunk shut again, and the footsteps come back. He's got an old shopping bag that's white, and you can kind of see the faded marking of the supermarket up front that's tied up at the top. He just kind of holds it out, still facing away from you and around the corner.
Thanks, pal.
As you grab it and you feel the weight of it, there's at least 2, maybe 3 bags in there, just from feeling. It's like, it's all I could get for the week, but I might have more for you next week.
It's okay. I'm pretty well stocked right now. So, when are you due, by the way? When do you need another booster?
Yeah, he sighs actually. He's like, I haven't even. God, when was last? And he starts doing some rough math and fumbling around with his language a bit.
Yeah, well, hey, don't lose track, because that's important. And don't expect me to either. I got other things on my mind, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's at least been a couple of weeks. I should be good until I next see you.
Okay, fair enough.
But if I'm itching before then, I'll reach out. You got your beeper.
Yeah, sure thing. So, you seem a little edgy.
Well, I'm not supposed to be here tonight, and, well, that blood. And he kind of just clears his throat.
Well, what's wrong?
People have been needing a lot, and taking that many tonight is, I just feel bad about it. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Nah, it's probably good to feel bad about that. Look, I appreciate what you do for me.
And don't get me wrong, I more than appreciate everything you've done for me.
Yeah. Okay, look. If we need to go easy for a while, like I said, I'm well stocked.
If I could just bring you 1 or 2 instead of the usual 3 or 4.
How long is this going to be?
A week, maybe 2. At most.
Okay. I'm a soft touch, I reckon.
You've done more for me than anyone could ever. Listen, I know this is... I appreciate you giving me the leeway here. If I get caught, I could lose my job and the supply could run short and you'd have to find somebody else. And I'd like to think I've done my job well.
You have, and we don't want that. All right. Just make sure that stick gets burned, right?
Yeah, I'll take care of it, sir. Not a question. Just... Oh, I'm so glad you're not mad. And you hear him...
Hey, what's with this sir stuff?
My apologies. Sorry, Max. Sorry.
Right, Sam and Max, right? It's just Sam and Max.
Right. It's like that bunnying thing, right? There's a bunny.
Yeah.
Which one of us is the bunny?
I don't know. I don't read that one, to be honest. You know, I do have a not so mint copy of Action Comics #1, though.
I didn't know. Oh, are you... I've never gotten to read an actual physical version of that before.
It's not worth nothing. It's pretty beat up, but you never know. One of these days.
I'll hold you to it. And he chuckles a little bit as he lifts the heavy bag of clothes, or of sheets at this point. Okay, if there's anything else I can do for you before I head out of here.
Nah, we're good.
Thanks. And he just kind of hobbles off, and you hear him, the door open, distant, and shut, and his footsteps dissipate, leaving you in the garage silently by yourself for a little while.
I hope this works out.
And with that, you start making your way back to the club. Eventually, Sean, you finish going through the entire computer, having discovered a few things, but not too much. 2 of them, however, I imagine have gotten your attention.
Oh, yeah. He's scrolling through the Windows listing of all the photos.
As you're going through the photos, you actually hear the back door open and shut and the obvious footsteps of Max.
What the fuck is this? Max!
Yeah, I'm right here.
Max!
I'm right here. I can hear pretty good with these big ears. What?
Yeah. I can see that, but take a look at it. This is your job, right? Making sure this place is proper safe, including me. I hope that includes me because I'm pretty fond of me. And I like you, man. I don't want to accuse you of not doing your job properly. You're a big guy.
Yeah, okay. Hey, my job is not making sure things are safe. My job is putting the people who make it unsafe out on the street.
then either someone did that job for you, or you got some new knees to break, because look the fuck at this. And I show you a couple of pictures side by side of the outside of the club with me going in the front door.
And like, coming out the front door in another.
What?
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I'm
what am I looking at here?
Yours truly at the wonderful abode of our gracious hostess Vera. And did you know about this? Did
I know that you came into the club?
No, the photos. The person that took the photos.
What? Wait a minute. Wait. Where did you get this? I don't know where you're getting this. I thought am I looking at the
dead guy's computer? This is the dead guy's computer, and this
okay.
is
I thought you were like showing me your Facebook or something. What? I don't know.
Oh my god, no!
I don't do social media.
But you know what password is? There's.
It's always password. It's always password. Okay. What?
And
okay. All right.
This is all because of you.
There's photos of you on the dead guy's computer.
Here, not taken by me, would have gotten a way better angle. This is creepy. This is Duke level shit.
Okay.
As you say, Duke, there's like a quiet shutting of the upstairs doors and a very rhythmic, kind of calm walking down the stairs.
Sean shivers
as Duke turns the corner. Duke, Maxwell, and Sean.
Duke, we got trouble.
You know about creepers, right?
I suppose I might.
Somebody has the kid on the surveillance. The dead guy. This was on his computer.
I don't know if he took it from someone, whether this is his computer, but I mean, look, it's got a picture of my butt and then a picture of my face. Like, usually this is reserved for some very, very special ladies. Like,
very important pictures, I can tell. That's not good news, Sean.
No, it's not good news. I've been very careful for a very long time, and what was that? The prince? The prince is keeping tabs on me?
Perhaps.
Prince's ghoul, anyway.
I like tear off part of my shirt accidentally as I move aside the material to show, like, on my left, just above where my heart would be, an ankh burnt into my skin that somehow remained there. I'm like, they're already keeping tabs on me.
What?
Like, this is... Why would they do that when they already know I'm here? They know where I've been.
Wait a minute. When were you going to tell us about this?
I don't know.
Watch him, Duke. Don't let him go nowhere. Don't let him go nowhere.
That's fine.
It was normal.
For him.
I gotta have a word with Vera.
Larson said that.
As you try to plead your case, Max walks away, and Duke simply says, "Not a problem, I have some words for him anyway," and he steps forward to ensure that you do not move. Max goes up the stairwell, but the camera will linger downstairs first. Duke cutting in as Sean desperately pleads his case.
Sean, I have to be clear, I don't care that you have a scar. It's interesting that you declare it's a method for them to find you. Is this some sort of a tracking mark?
I don't know, magic or just marking me, but they know what I'm doing, where I am. They don't need to take pictures, that's for fucking sure.
Well, if the prince is well aware of where you are and they can locate you rather swiftly, then perhaps the ghoul is operating with another individual.
I don't know. I'm just trying to do my thing. Why would someone wait out there? Like, I've been around for like 9 years now, and this is really, really hurt. Like, I go up to people with the fang, and they're like, they just tell me to fuck off. They know what kind of, in quotes, status I have.
Well, Sean, as I said earlier this evening, in order to understand the art, you must first attempt to understand the artist. This is a good chance for you to figure out who exactly has been taking pictures of your derriere, if you will. Do we know much about this person, this ghoul, aside from the fact that they have gone missing?
I guess
you would be an intelligence politics role? Specific. I imagine Sean knows very little.
Sean is... I'm not even going to bother rolling.
And
that.
even common knowledge on a princess ghoul would be hard to come across either way.
Yeah.
I had 2 successes.
Beyond the name, their name being Benjamin, and just being one of the ghouls of the prince, you wouldn't know much.
Did we get a last name by chance?
No, you would not have had a last name. He would have gotten a last name on the computer, actually, so I will send that to him. It's just Ben Henderson. There you go. Ben Henderson.
I'm assuming that Sean would tell me that.
Mm-hmm. AKA Grand Force Stand.
Interesting moniker. I think it's worth at least attempting to discover where he's been working. Does it say anything about a day job?
There's, this is basically clean. I think he knows about as much about social media as
Very well.
Max and Vera.
We can always knock on the door of the prince themselves.
I'm not going near that.
Well, why not?
I will fight Max mano a mano before I stand on the prince's doorstep.
Well, don't you think that the prince would want to know about their missing ghoul?
I think... as much as I'm not a fan of Larson, we should run this by him first. Because it was his stupid fucking idea.
I agree. There is definitely more at play here, and I feel as if we have been shortchanged on information. Sean, if I can bend your ear briefly for a moment on topics outside of this.
Yeah, of course.
I understand that I make you uncomfortable.
I'm glad you can see that.
I'm hoping that there is a method for us to make amends to this. I understand as well that merely just being in my company is probably going to make that a little worse, but I want you to understand that that is not the case. I'm hoping to be a boon to you simply by existing in the same space as you. This was Vera's recommendation.
Yeah, well, that starts to make a bit more sense. I'm really appreciative of that. I have nothing against you. I might even like you. I honestly don't know. You're a tough guy to get a read on. Every time you're around me, I get chills. And not in the fun way.
That makes sense. I did that a lot while I was alive as well. Let me be candid with you. While we were at this man's apartment, you wanted to know how I was so unshaken. And while you don't necessarily need to know all of the details, you're a smart kid, you'll figure it out one day. I once had a real problem depriving people of their lives. And the body, well, it was never the aspect of killing them. It was the aspect of possessing their body afterward. It was almost after a fact, evicting someone from their human body. And I'm sorry that may sound a bit cold, but that's what it monologizes to. Bodies do not bother me. As I said, simply inanimate. There's nothing there to bark orders or yell demands.
I'm gonna maybe process that a little bit. I don't use a lot of flowery words, and but if I if you're saying what I think you're saying,
I'm saying I was a monster long before I was a kindred, Sean. There's a reason that I was chosen to be a Ventru. I was someone's prize.
I'm glad you're sure of who and what you are.
Then I believe it's safe to assume that we should probably help you on your path to discovery.
I am... Sure, thanks.
If there's any way I can help, just ask.
If I have any questions, I will note them down and ask.
And on that tense, confused exchange, the camera cuts up to the second floor where Vera's lounging and enjoying a cigar before a voice would interrupt.
Vera, we got problems.
I don't even look. I just keep doing what I'm doing.
There's somebody in front of you who's serving you some foods and whatnot and some drinks. You're not blush of lifing, but it's still pleasant to choose.
Actually, Vera likes vodka and cigars,
so blush of life.
Yeah, she will. Have a heaping glass of just clear liquid.
Your hunger does not go up, and so you're plucking little treats and taking your favorite vodkas and just enjoying the night.
There's always some problem. What now?
This is a big problem.
Well, big as in physical size, because I have two of you that are big problems. Or as in...
Yeah, about the size of Sean. About the size and exact shape of Sean.
What has he done?
It's kind of what's been done to him. You want to talk here, or...
As another servant passes by, can I get you anything else, madam?
I wave them on. I'm going for a walk. I kind of stand.
Enjoy your walk, ma'am. Thank you so much for keeping us company these past few minutes. And he scrambles off.
Unreasonably tall, a head higher than most everybody here. And I just kind of make my way down.
Max in tow. Into the basement you go. Does Max fill her in the back rooms along the way?
Yeah, as we pass out of sight, Max decloaks. There's that sort of shimmer in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the long and short of it. Looks like the kid has been under surveillance. We found pictures of him coming into and out of this club on that dead guy's computer.
On the ghoul's computer?
Yeah, the Princess Ghoul's computer. So you see how that's a problem. Beyond that, he decided to divulge some new information, to me anyway, maybe you knew. He's been marked somehow by the prince, apparently. It looks like some kind of brand on his chest, the shape of an aunt, probably some kind of magic bullshit. I don't know. I don't know much about that. But I do know that it's a problem.
I swear, is he here?
He's downstairs. He's with Duke.
Good.
As you say good, the door opens to the basement and you begin striding down the stairs.
Now from what the kid said, the prince can track his whereabouts because of the brand. You'll have to ask him.
Interesting.
And down the stairs you go. Duke and Sean can hear their footsteps coming from a mile away. The heels are hard to ignore.
And I give a rap tap very lightly on the door.
Come in.
Yep. I squeeze the door open.
Well, show us all.
That's a bit private, really, isn't it?
You just showed us a second ago. Now you're shy?
Trust me, I've seen far worse.
Sean, she regularly dances at this location. It's just a mark.
Yeah, I know, I've seen. Okay, yeah, sure.
And go ahead and describe it as you pull away your shirt again.
Yeah, I move aside the material again of the torn shirt, and you see the symbol of the Camarilla burnt in kind of an almost blackened color in the center left of his chest. Probably about 3 inches tall. and the skin is kind of pockmarked around the edge where it's been scarred.
The prince gave you this mark.
Yeah, and they said they'd keep track of me because blah blah blah, weak little POS, blah blah blah, not as good as us, blah blah blah. You should be lucky to be alive.
Question. Did they say POS or did they just say piece of shit?
You know, I was mostly crying at the time, so I can't remember.
I'm gonna go out a limb and say that they actually said piece of shit.
I'd be inclined to agree.
Sean?
Is that... Yeah?
He can track you with this, and you did not feel it advantageous to let us know?
Well, normally, people tend to shy away from other people, and I really didn't want to piss any of you off because everyone was like...
You pissed us off now!
Normally? Well, we are not normal, or people.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to piss you off.
But you do recognize that in your fault of keeping it from us, you have, in fact, pissed us off.
I recognize that now. Yeah, it's, Larson said it was normal.
Oh, the branding is not the problem.
What?
The brand, that is, in fact, normal. You must be marked as a thin blood. It is the tracking part that is of great interest.
Don't ask me. I don't know how it works.
Obviously. But besides that, you're now part of this great murder mystery.
Yeah.
Right? Why would the prince's ghoul be tracking you?
Ask him.
As you point to
bags of blood and guts.
There's no way that you've worked with him in any capacity in the past, is there?
I think I saw him once, but no.
Did you give him a bad batch of drugs, you or your cronies?
No such thing. But more importantly, I don't sell to your kind. So, because it sort of defeats the point, right? So, unless it's like way down the chain, I have no control over that.
Ghouls are not our kind, Sean. They can still get high from taking drugs.
Not seen him. I'll ask the crew, but I really, really doubt it.
Then there was a personal vested interest. Did you sleep with one of his lovers by chance?
I mean, maybe.
Hey, I want to make one thing clear. Okay, they are not the crew. We are the crew. They are at best the bunch.
I thought we were the pack.
Yeah. We're the Drac pack. But this is our crew. We're the crew.
And
just so there's no confusion. When you refer to those guys, you call them the bunch.
Yeah, sure.
Sean. Stop speaking for a moment. And I imagine that I'm like pacing, kind of like trying to think all of this through. Phil goes, I don't know much of blood magics, but I do know that there are ways of, say, locating people. And blood is necessary for such a endeavor.
Farah, I do books for a local Tremere. I keep their business safe and tidy. They feed me.
Glad to know you do in fact feed. So, someone went to the ghoul so that they could track the prince.
Perhaps. And still doesn't explain why the pictures of Sean were on the computer.
Maybe they are not related. Maybe they are. I only care about keeping the prince safe, because when the prince is safe and done by us, then we get ours in the end.
Now, these photos, were they just, on the computer, or were they sent by somebody? Like, are they in a...
They were part of they were on the computer. There were basically no emails. Like,
were there photos of others?
No, it's just like they bought this for one job or something. It's really weird. This is not a personal computer. This is like a work computer. There's, at best, account confirmation emails.
Wait.
That's what we got.
There's more than one kind of computer?
Personal, such as recreational, and then for business, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. It is my understanding it has something to do with taxes. Do you handle that?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, I think we should ask the Tremere. And if I'm not mistaken, we could also maybe run a little background check on whoever this was. And I gesture nonchalantly to the bags of body parts.
Oh, you want a name? It's Ben Henderson.
Yeah, wonderful. His name means nothing if I don't know who and what he did. Say before he was a
Take
ghoul of the
photos of me
pits.
like a creeper.
You know you like it. Stop it.
Duke, how well do you trust this Tremere?
I trust no one outside of this immediate coterie. In fact, there are times that I don't trust either of you.
Smart.
But
Right.
you know how we operate. Everyone deals in favors and boons, and blood communicates widely.
Yeah, but if we take this Tremere something involving the prince's ghoul, how confident are they not going to immediately blow the lid off this?
There is value in information, Max, and this would be relatively high in value from my immediate understanding.
Sure, but how high is the risk?
Suppose it comes to the level of boon that we offer them.
What does your Tremere friend dabble in?
They are part of the chantry, obviously, and they're lower rung on the chantry. They're not like a higher up or a particular the regent of the chantry as such. But I mean, depending on what task you're looking to get done, even if they can't do it specifically, if there's enough reason for them to chase higher up the ladder and get others involved. But beyond that, you wouldn't know, because the Tremere keep their magic under lock and key. They simply offer you answers and offer you help in turn for when you need it.
And the chantry would say he is in good standing currently with the Camarilla.
Oh, certainly.
Great.
The chantry
Just make
works
sure there's
with the
nothing
Camarilla
funky
directly.
there. Okay.
Well, the chantry, I'm sure, would want to know if there was a, say, difficult problem.
I believe that they would have a vested interest in understanding why a man would have been half decapitated, his limbs removed, and a halo drawn on the wall. They might be able to immediately identify what the text was as well.
Yeah, well, maybe don't show them the photos.
I was hoping that we might be able to communicate it in a drawing form.
Yeah, well, we got one of those.
Well, I would say that maybe you should visit the chantry. There's no reason for us not to be transparent, especially when it seems that the prince's life could be compromised.
Maybe we should let the prince know?
Precisely. You are coming with me.
No, I'm not going to the prince.
I'm sorry, we'll start over. You're coming with me.
Let's go, kid. Come on.
Duke,
Max, why?
Max,
Help me.
maybe you could visit the chantry. Get some information. I trust that Max will not let them in on too much, and Duke, you speak their language.
If I'm being completely honest, they will likely not let Max indoors.
I wouldn't think so.
Reasonable, but Max will be there to help nonetheless.
Max, if that is okay with you, I would happily vouch for you.
Fine, vouch away.
As for those going to look for the prince, you would know that getting an audience with the prince is not an easy thing or an easy task.
Can I find a harpy?
You could get the harpy of the city is a man by the name of Thomas Arturo. Getting a hold of him would be a little easier, certainly. As to where exactly, you make your way to the ivory tower, and you're likely going to either, if not find him there, be able to get a hold of somebody that can get a hold of him.
And I have a level 2 status in the Camarilla, which means like if I showed up needing an ear,
you basically make a roll and
I could make that
all
happen.
good shit.
Okay.
Yep. So who's going to the ivory tower then? Vera with Sean.
Yes.
Reluctantly, Sean will throw on a hoodie and go with.
And Duke and Max are going together to the chantry.
Yes. Now, did we say that the plan is for Max to basically obfuscate and go along, or are we basically just going to be open about it?
Probably obfuscate the way there and then open upon arrival.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would anticipate something much.
Yeah, we should be
more sinister
transparent,
in
I think.
intention.
Yeah, with the chantry anyways, yeah.
Yeah, the chantry itself is, if anybody knows New York at all, it's in Barnard College. That's kind of where it sits. That's where you find that's where the main chantry lies. There's a hub that leads to other areas and whatnot, but that's where you're mostly going to be heading to. We will first then focus on those that are heading to the chantry. Duke and Max are a unique pair in and of themselves, and along the ride, imagine if you're hitting the sewers for most of that journey anyway. Is there much conversation between Max and Duke, or is Max and Duke a relatively silent pair when they travel?
I can imagine that they're silent unless otherwise something is roused to the moment.
It's usually Max sighing as Duke occasionally attempts to initiate conversation, and then replying with monosyllabic replies.
Makes sense. I like that. That's where he's at. So as we follow the two of them quietly and silently plowing their way through the sewers, keeping to themselves, eventually making their way to a manhole cover. They push it up and the light from the city pours in. It's a few blocks out from any main street, and actually the bright light and the sound of Times Square is not that far off as well. As you kind of climb out and continue to further, a small little building, one of the what you would consider like a branch aspect of the main chantry, an easier place to go and a place where more common folk can go and ask for help with the chantry without actually going to the proper college, end up. And as you knock on the door, the window itself, it looks like a little shop, like a large open shop window that shows like little bits and bobs, knickknacks. You might even consider it like a secondhand store is what you're looking at. And eventually the door that says closed jingles as a bell opens and a older blonde woman peers through, seeing, I imagine Duke standing there.
I'll give her a nod.
She kind of takes a step back. Hey, what do you want?
I'm here to speak specifically to the chantry.
Minute. And then she just slams the door shut. You hear footsteps and the lights go off and on and off a couple more times before another scuttered footsteps run back up to the door. What's your business with the chantry?
I was hoping to glean some information regarding a symbol that I had found.
Name?
Duke Penman.
Clan?
Ventru.
She takes a moment. The door shuts. You hear some locks get undone. The chains fall limply and loosely, and the door swings open. You can actually smell the stale antique air of all the secondhand stuff around kind of pierce through your nose as she welcomes you in.
I'll stop before the door and
Sure.
I won't decloak, but I will say it's like, yeah, I'm here too. I'm not trying to sneak in or nothing. Clan Nosferatu, Max, etc.
Oh, God. Goodness. Okay, two of you. Fine. Enter, please. And she kind of like looks around blankly. I imagine you're in. And on that, she shuts the door and the lights go out. And as the lights go out, the camera lingers outside and we'll cut the episode there.
Special thank you to Kimberly and Sean Casey for sponsoring this podcast. Stitch of Fate wouldn't be possible without your incredible kindness and support. You sure know how to rouse our blood.